Brothers and sisters, as you all know, in the United States of America over the past 4 business days, a beautiful black woman, chocolate, deeply melanated, natural-haired black female judge, Sister Ketanji Brown Jackson, or is it Jackson Brown? Is it Brown Jackson? Let me get the sister's name right. I keep on mixing it up. Brown Jackson, KBJ, Sister Ketanji Brown Jackson had to face down the racist U.S. Senate. Sister Ketanji Brown Jackson had to face down for 4 days the racist United States Senate, excuse me. It was racist. It was demeaning. It was accusatory. It was disrespectful. It was insulting the way that those devils on the U.S. Senate treated our sister. It was an absolute miscarriage of justice the way that this country, so-called democracy, so-called land of freedom, justice, and equality, so-called leader of the free world, so-called land of opportunity, the way that those devils on the U.S. Senate treated that black woman, Sister Ketanji Brown Jackson. They treated her like a dog. They treated her like an animal. They treated her like an idiot. They treated her like a moron. No Supreme Court justice nominee in the history of this country, no Supreme Court justice nominee in the history of this country has ever been treated the way Sister Ketanji was treated by the United States Senate this past week. I got to speak to this. I got to speak to this. I got to speak to this. I want you to understand, overstand, and understand me now. I want you to understand, overstand, and understand me now. Now, some of you are saying, Dr. Umar, but what about her snow bunny crisis? Some of you are asking at this very moment, Prince of Pan-Africanism, what about her snow bunny crisis? Some of you are saying right now, why be concerned about the way she was treated if she decided to dedicate her life to an enemy of our race? Why do you dare speak up for her? And I'll tell you why. The reason I dare speak up for Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson is despite my disagreement with her interracial marriage. Despite my disagreement with her interracial marriage, she's still a black woman. Despite my disagreement with her interracial marriage, she's still a black woman and had no right to be treated the way Ted Cruz and others treated her these past 4 days. Now, we only got 3 black U.S. senators, 3 black men in the U.S. Senate, no black women. Raphael Warnock, Cory Booker, and Tim Scott, who is more Republican than the Republicans. And Tim Scott, who is more Republican than the Republicans. And for those Africans who live in Tim Scott's district, y'all got to get him out of there. Y'all got to get him out. He represents South Carolina. Tim Scott represents South Carolina. Senator Tim Scott represents South Carolina. South Carolina is one of our blackest states. It was the blackest of the 13 colonies. South Carolina is one of our blackest states, and it was the blackest of the 13 colonies in the antebellum era. Black folks, get his ass up out of there. Get Tim. No black man should be comfortable siding with the white power structure while they belittle, malign, and disrespect a black woman the way they did to Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson this past week. Tim Scott, your ass got to go. Tim Scott got to go. And that's why when we have our confidential Bishop Turner National Independent Black Political Movement Caucus, when we have our confidential Bishop Turner National Independent Black Political Movement Caucus. And if you're interested, BTNIBPM at Yahoo. And if you're interested, BTNIBPM at Yahoo. And if you're interested, BTNIBPM at yahoo.com. We might have to run somebody for U.S. Senate against Tim Scott. He got to go. South Carolina, are you ready to get Tim Scott up out of there? Africans and my South Carolina Africans, are you ready to get Tim Scott up out of there? My South Carolina Africans, are you ready to get Tim Scott up out of there? But I digress. I digress. I digress. I want to say to Sister Ketanji Brown, Judge Ketanji, on behalf of all black men in this country, I apologize to you. Sister Ketanji, on behalf of all black men in this country, I apologize to you. And let me tell you why. In support of our sister, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, we should have kicked in the damn door and told Ted Cruz, who the F do you think you are? We should have went right down the list to every white racist senator in that damn chamber. And we should have said, you don't talk to no black woman like that, coward. You don't talk to my sister like that, coward. Who do you think you talking to? Her mother and father were in there. Her mother and father were in that room, and those elders had to watch their daughter get treated like a piece of garbage. She had more credentials than anybody who questioned her. She had more qualifications than anybody who questioned her. She had more experience than anybody who questioned her. And her mother and father had to sit there and watch their daughter get treated like that in the so-called land of milk and honey, in the so-called land of freedom, justice, and equality. What kind of country is this? What kind of country is this? What kind of government is this that in the 21st century, a black woman got to be treated like that? She almost cried, but she held it back. Go watch the confirmation hearings. Get your ass off YouTube once in a while. Get your ass off Twitter once in a while. Get your ass off Instagram once in a while. Get your ass off the internet and go watch the Senate confirmation hearings for Sister Ketanji. Go watch and look at the questions that they asked our sister. One of those devils had the nerve to ask her, do you think we lock up enough criminals in this country? One of them devils had the nerve to ask Judge Ketanji, do you think we lock up enough criminals in this country? Do you think we should be locking up more? You know what they were asking her indirectly. You know what they were asking her indirectly. You know what they were asking her indirectly. Do you think more black people should be locked up because we know your people aren't nothing but criminals? That's what they were asking her. That's what they were asking her. Shouldn't more of your people be locked up? And if you become a U.S. Supreme Court justice, do you support the intensification of the mass incarceration of blacks in America? If you become the first black female Supreme Court justice, do you support the intensification of the mass incarceration of black men and women in this country? And then they spent so much of the time talking about her sentencing decisions for some child pornography cases. Now, let's keep it real. We don't support child pornography. Those people should be locked up and put under the jail. But she answered the question when she said, what I did in sentencing those child pornography criminals was consistent with what other judges do when they sentence child pornography criminals. I agree. They should have been put under the jail. I agree. But why single her out as if she's done something that was so radically different than from what other federal justices do when they sentence child pornography criminals? Was her sentencing markedly different than the sentencing of other federal district court judges? No, it was not. No, it was not. And as she said in response to the child pornography questions, she said so articulately and intelligently, if the Senate has a problem with the way in which I sentenced those criminals, you can pass laws to change the sentencing guidelines. The point she made over and over again, was the sentencing was done within the confines of the guidelines that the U.S. Congress has laid down. The sentencing was done within the confines of the guidelines that the U.S. Congress has laid down. So if you don't agree, change the guidelines that we have to use as judges in order to sentence people. And what was so hypocritical about them grilling her on the way she sentences criminals, not just in child porn, they went over her entire record. They claimed she was soft on black criminals. They claimed she was soft on black criminals. But the hypocrisy of this country, which incarcerates more black people per capita than any country in the world. America incarcerates more people than any country in the world, and the disproportionate amount of the people incarcerated in this country are black. How dare you ask her if America needs to lock up more criminals when you already have more black people locked up per capita than any country on the planet Earth? That was a damn sham. That was a sham, and it was a scam. Like Brother Malcolm said, you've been had, you've been hoodwinked, you've been bamboozled, run amok, and led astray. Brother Malcolm said, you've been had, you've been hoodwinked, you've been bamboozled, you've been run amok, and you've been led astray. Should we lock up more criminals? Do you think you tough enough on crime? They had the nerve to ask her, do you think you have been tough enough on crime? How many more black people do y'all want incarcerated? How many more black people do y'all want incarcerated before you can say it's been enough? Mr. Mitch McConnell, you old crusty devil, Ted Cruz, a racist Latino devil. How many more black people need to be locked up in order for the racist U.S. Senate to feel that enough of us are in jail? How many more? Not to mention, most black people who have been convicted were convicted on plea bargains because they couldn't afford decent attorneys. Most black people who are convicted in this country are not convicted because they are guilty. They are convicted because they cannot afford to pay for adequate legal representation. How dare y'all disrespect my sister like that? How dare y'all disrespect my sister like that? Senator Cory Booker from New Jersey. Senator Cory Booker from New Jersey, I want to give you a quick shout out. I ran into you at my 4th Breakfast Club interview at Power 105. I ran into Senator Cory Booker at my 4th Breakfast Club interview at Power 105. Didn't get a chance to conversate because I really don't do politicians. But I want to thank you because I didn't see Tim Scott, and he might have. I didn't see Raphael Warnock, and he might have. But Cory Booker, I do appreciate you trying to be a black man in defense of your black sister. I do appreciate you for giving her the words of encouragement that you gave her. I do appreciate you saying, God got her back. Don't pay no attention to these racists. They're going to question everything you do, and you didn't make it this far for nothing. As a black man to a black man, I appreciate you trying to give our sister some support in that house of devils. The U.S. Senate, House of Devils. Only 3 of them are black, and one of them is a House Negro. The U.S. Senate, House of Devils. Cory Booker, I'm going to give you a shout out for that. Cory Booker, I'm going to give you a shout out for that. Now, we're going to still look at your record, Cory Booker. When the Bishop Turner National Independent Black Political Movement has our private caucus, we still going to look at your record, my brother, because I don't know if you're fighting hard enough for black people in that Senate. I don't know if you're fighting hard enough for black people in that Senate, but I'm not going to judge you until I study you, Senator Cory Booker. I'm not going to judge you until I study you, Senator Cory Booker. I'm not going to judge you until I study you, Senator Cory Booker, but I do want to say thank you for backing up our sister. Thank you for being a black man that day to let our sister know, don't pay this stuff no mind. I know you can see she was hurting. I know she wanted to walk out. I know she wanted to say, this isn't even worth it. I saw the tears in her eyes, but she had the strength to hold it back. I saw the tears in her eyes, but she had the strength to hold it back. No black woman should be treated like that. Now, here's my next question. Here's my next question. Here's my next question. Radical black feminists and white feminists, where is the outcry from the radical black feminists and the white feminists about the way this black woman was disrespected by white men? Where are the feminists? I'm going to ask it again. Where are the damn feminists? Y'all claim to be for women. Y'all claim to be in support of black women. Here is a black woman, the first ever black female U.S. Supreme Court Justice nominee, gets disrespected for 4 days by the most virulent white supremacists in this country. I'm talking about the U.S. Senate, all 97 plus one Negro of them, all 97 plus one Negro of them. Disrespect our sister for 4 days. Where are the articles? Where are the protests? Where is the outcry from the feminist movement? You damn fakers. Where you feminists at? I don't hear nothing coming from these damn radical black feminists, these white feminists, about the way our sister, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, has been treated last week. Where are you at? I'm going to tell you like I told you before, the feminist movement ain't nothing but a new face for white racism. The feminist movement ain't nothing but a new face for white racism. The feminist movement ain't nothing but a new face for white racism. And the only time y'all come out is when there's a black man who needs to be publicly lynched. The only time the feminist movement does anything is when a black man needs his character assassinated. The only time the feminist movement does a damn thing is when another black man gets accused of mistreating a woman, and you have to make sure that his assassination, his character is assassinated before he gets convicted in court. Where the feminists at? Where is the black feminist support for Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson? Now, let me say this, because I want to be clear. Let me say this. I don't know what she's going to do when she gets in there. I don't know what she's going to do when she got a white husband. It looks like she's not been too kind to black people. So I'm not here to vouch for her. I'm here to vouch for her as a member of the black sisterhood. I'm here to vouch for her as a member of the black queendom. I'm here to vouch for her as a member of the African woman empire. That's why I'm speaking for my sister. That's why I'm speaking for my sister. That's why I'm speaking for my sister. I remember I was a senior at the Scotland School for Veterans Children in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. I remember I was a senior at the Scotland School for Veterans Children in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. In October of 1991, I sat on the couch in the residential area where we stayed as young men. And I watched Clarence Thomas. I watched every day. I was only 17 years old, but I watched every day of Justice Clarence Thomas confirmation hearings. And guess who was Ted Cruz back in 1991? Guess who was Mitch McConnell back in 1991? It was none other than your president. that black people couldn't wait to run out and vote for. It was none other than Senator Joe Biden from Delaware. Senator Joe Biden from Delaware. And Senator Joe Biden from Delaware, who is now your president, treated Clarence Thomas like a dog, like an animal, like a monkey, like a roach, like a house rat. I sat there. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. As a 17-year-old high school student, I watched Joe Biden treat Clarence Thomas the same way Ted Cruz and the rest of the Ku Klux Klan of the Senate treated Sister Ketanji this past week. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing? 91 to 01 to 11 to 21, 31 years later, no progress. 31 years later, and the U.S. Senate is still treating U.S. Supreme Court justice nominees like dogs and animals, like they can't think, like they can't make decisions, like they incompetent, like they soft on crime. Aren't there enough black people locked up? Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall went through the same thing in 1967. Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall went through the same thing in 1967. 1 year before they killed King, they rushed, Lyndon Baines Johnson rushed in and had Thurgood Marshall nominated to be the first black U.S. Supreme Court Justice. They didn't care about Thurgood Marshall, and they didn't care about black people. The reason Thurgood Marshall got nominated is because the 1967 riots of Newark, New Jersey and Detroit, Michigan was pushing America to the limit. The only reason why Thurgood Marshall got nominated is the Newark, New Jersey 1967 riots and the Detroit, Michigan 1967 riots was pushing America's infrastructure to the brink. In Newark, New Jersey and Detroit, they fought the police, they fought the militia, they fought the state guard, they fought the army. And they said, we got to calm these Negroes down because they acting like they not scared of white folks no more. And so they put Thurgood Marshall on the bench to try to quell the Detroit riots and the Newark riots. And that wasn't it. Over 100 riots in 1967. Over 100 race riots in this country in 1967, led by Newark, New Jersey and Detroit, Michigan. And as a result of that, Thurgood Marshall got ushered into the bench. Thurgood Marshall got ushered into the bench. Thurgood Marshall got ushered into the bench. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So Thurgood Marshall got put in because Black America had enough. The Black Panthers wasn't playing. Black Liberation Army wasn't playing. The brothers and sisters in the streets said we had enough. So they said, we better give these Negroes something. We better give these Negroes something before America explodes. Thurgood Marshall was the consolation prize to convince black people that America was going to get better. Thurgood Marshall in 1967 was the consolation prize that the government gave to black folks, hoping black people would go and lay down. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. To my sister, Judge Ketanji Brown, I hope you get confirmed because you deserve it. I don't appreciate your snow bunny crisis at all. It's not a good example to black girls coming behind you. We need strong black men with strong black women. So I don't appreciate you going outside the community to get your husband. That's not a good look for our girls at all. You are too beautiful with too much melanin. You are too fond of a sister to be going home to an oppressor. But with that being said, sister, you have been through too much. I wish you well. I'm going to say, I'm going to ask the ancestors to put you in there if that's what's best for us as a people. I'm going to ask the ancestors to put you in if that's what's best for us as a people. And I only ask you one thing, Sister Ketanji. Please don't go the route of Justice Clarence Thomas. Sister Ketanji, please hear me out, sister. Do not become another Clarence Thomas. This man for 31 years has voted against every single thing that has come up in front of the Supreme Court for black people. That man is an enemy of our people. And just like you, he chose to marry into the oppressor's community. So I'm asking you, sister, I'm going to root for you a little bit. I'm hoping that what you went through last week, in that U.S. racist Ku Klux Klan Senate chamber, I'm hoping that it reminded you that even though you are a federal judge, even though you have achieved the highest level of accomplishment in the legal world, even though you chaired the Federal Sentencing Commission, even though you went to an Ivy League college, even though you are a nominee for U.S. Supreme Court Justice, I'm hoping that you learned one thing last week, Sister Ketanji. I'm hoping you learned one thing, and that is, I'm hoping you learned that even though you have a white husband, even though you are a federal judge, even though you are an Ivy League graduate, even though you're probably one of the brightest minds this country has ever produced, or should I say the African community in this country has ever produced, even though you are economically and educationally elite, my beautiful African sister, you are still black. And at the end of the day, just like Oprah, just like Bill Cosby, you had to be reminded. I don't appreciate the way they did it, sister, but I'm sure you are now reminded of something. And that is, in this country, it don't matter how educated you get. In this country, it don't matter how much money you make. In this country, it don't matter how many white people you share your bed with. In this country, it don't matter how many Ivy League degrees you have. In this country, Sister Ketanji, whether you like it or not, you are still one of us. You are still one of us. You are still one of us. And I am hoping, because the Supreme Court appointment is a lifetime appointment, you're going to be a Supreme Court justice until you decide to retire. You're going to be a Supreme Court justice until you decide to retire. So I'm hoping, Sister Ketanji, with all your melanin, because you are one gorgeous black sister with your natural hair, I'm hoping that you remember your people. I'm hoping you remember us who fought and cried and stood by you as you had to put up with that racist Neanderthal, caveman, Iceman, mayonnaise community Senate confirmation process. Remember your people, Ketanji, because at the end of the day, your white husband can't save you. At the end of the day, you got to meet your ancestors, just like I got to meet my ancestors. So black woman, Sister Ketanji, I hope you get the vote. I believe you will get the vote. And I hope you do not become the next Clarence Thomas. I watched that man from high school as an 11th grade junior. I sat there and watched how they treated him. And after he went through that hell, instead of standing up for black people, he sided with the white power structure. Sister Ketanji Brown Jackson, please don't do the same thing. And with that said, brothers and sisters, I want to say this and then I'm going to wrap it up. With that said, brothers and sisters, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to wrap it up. And that is this. I think it would benefit black people more if she does not get the vote. Listen to me. I want y'all to understand me. I want my sister to get in, and I'm going to pray that her ancestors make her do right by her people. I want y'all to hear me. I want Sister Ketanji Brown to get in there. I want her to become the first black female Supreme Court justice. Not because I care about first black crap. That don't mean nothing. But I'm hoping she'll get in there and stand up for her people. But for the sake of black revolution, it would be better if she didn't, because this would be another piece of proof. This would be another piece of proof to show you multicultural, we love America Negroes. This would be another piece of concrete proof to show you multicultural, colorblind, we love America Negroes that this country is not for you. So although I wish my sister well, I want y'all to get me here. I wish my sister well, and Sister Ketanji, I'ma hope the ancestors give you that seat. But I need you to understand politically, it would probably be better if you don't get the seat, because black people need to see how racist the U.S. Senate is. We need to see how racist this country is. We should already know. We should already know. But many of us have been so brainwashed by Christianity, Islam, white propaganda, okay? And I'm saying Christianity and Islam, not because I'm against Muslims and Christians, but because Islam and Christianity are both colorblind. Islam and Christianity are both colorblind. And the last thing black people need is a brainwashing from a colorblind religion. I'm not against your religion. I'm against the tactics of the religion. And because we are still so handicapped and straitjacketed and comatose by colorblindism and multiculturalism, if they did vote you down, my sister, and I don't want them to, but if they were to vote you down, I think it would help a lot of black women who think America cares about them. It would help a lot of black women who think America cares about them. It would help a lot of these black feminists who think America cares about them. If you got voted down, I think it would wake a lot of our sisters and brothers up to the realization that we ain't got no friends but each other.